The Archbishop of Canterbury will ask Brits across the country to swear allegiance to the King on Coronation Day. On May the 6th, everyone in Westminster Abbey and watching from home will be prompted to swear a promise to serve the King. So what do you think? Should we all swear allegiance to King Charles on Coronation Day? Joining me now is royal broadcaster and commentator Rafe Haydel-Mankoo and trade unionist and broadcaster Paul Embry, who I reckon will have two very different views. Who shall I start with? Rafe, tell me, will you be pledging allegiance next Saturday to King Charles?
Absolutely. I think this is a splendid idea, actually, because by swearing allegiance to the King during the actual service, we're actually engaging with our constitution and we're celebrating the fact that Britain is the world's oldest democratic constitution and the oldest continuous democracy, I should say. And the secret of our success is the stability of our institutions. And that's due in great part to our 1,000-year-old monarchy. And I would actually go further. And I'd say that on the first day back to school after the coronation, on Tuesday, the 9th of May, every school should have an assembly for the entire school population, and the headmaster or headmistress should lead their entire school in the oath of allegiance and also in singing the national anthem. You know, American children do this every day. They pledge allegiance to the flag. Surely our children can do it once in their lives to mark the coronation, because the coronation at its core is a contract between the king and the people. The king's going to devote his entire life and make an oath to that fact, to serve the people. But a contract requires two people. Traditionally, the people in the abbey represent the nation. But this is a great way in the modern world for not only the people in Britain, but in all the realms to come together and celebrate our great monarchy.
Paul, is Rafe being quite romantic about this? Will you be getting off your sofa, stopping what you're doing, whatever you're doing on a Saturday, and pledging your allegiance to King Charles?
Well, I'll probably be watching the coronation, but no, I won't be pledging my allegiance. Look, if Rafe and others wish to pledge their allegiance, then of course that's entirely up to them, and I wouldn't presume to suggest they should do otherwise. But equally, I don't think there should be any kind of undue coercion on people to take part in that kind of procedure either. I've got nothing against the royal family as individuals. I think actually they do work hard. They have the sort of existence, the goldfish bowl existence that I wouldn't particularly like. But I'm against the principle of monarchy generally. I'm a mild Republican. I'm not a fervent Republican. I'm a mild Republican because I believe that the whole principle of monarchy essentially establishes what I would call an enforced social hierarchy, whereby the only way that you could rise to become head of state in our country is if you happen to be of a particular bloodline, rather than if you have the right skills and you get there on merit. So I believe in principle we should elect our head of state in the same way that they do in numerous other advanced democracies in France, in the United States, and so on. And you know what, Emily? If Charles III wants to stand in that election, and if the people want to support him, good luck. Then it would be democratic, wouldn't it? And I would accept the outcome of that election.
Paul, I mean, the royal family, love King Charles or hate King Charles, have much higher favourability ratings than any politician, any recent politician. Anyway, I mean, Rafe, is there a bit of a problem, though? Because the majority of the country support the monarchy. But King Charles, has he earned enough respect from the British public to ask such a thing? Because, you know, I have a very patriotic following, by and large, on social media. I tweeted, would you pledge your allegiance to the King? Will you pledge your allegiance to the King? Lots of people are saying, King Charles, not my king. I loved the late Queen, but no to King Charles.
Personally, I think that, you know, the king is very much a king for the 21st century. If you think back to the 1980s, he was being ridiculed for so many issues and causes which now are actually at the vanguard of where society is. So I think he can be a king for all peoples. But it's important to remove the personality from the office and for the institution, in just the same way that people can make a toast to the president of the USA rather than to say Trump or Biden if they don't like them. This is about the Constitution, and it's not about the king, it's about the crown. And the crown is the equivalent to the soul of man in philosophy. It's the life force of our state. Everything that we have, from our government to our civil service, foreign service, police, military, our prisons, everything, all the authority comes from the crown. And it's important that we actually engage with the Constitution. And there's no more important moment in our Constitution than the coronation, to actually understand what the role of the monarchy is, and that it's not just a soap opera with Harry and Meghan, but it plays a vitally important role in our country. And the problem we have with so many people today, especially with our younger people, is they aren't taught about this, because at school that they're taught that the monarchy stands at the pinnacle of patriarchy and white privilege and is stained by slavery and colonialism, rather than actually showing the really fundamental role that it plays in our life. Because the world's most progressive, most advanced countries are monarchies. Australia, Canada, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Belgium, Japan, Britain. No one says that these are antiquated. In fact, it's the stability of the crown that enables societies to change dramatically socially.
Paul, you care about social cohesion, unity, presumably, in this country. You'd like people to feel proud of their country. Does not the monarch, pledging allegiance to the monarch, does that not symbolise more than just a deferation towards King Charles? It's about more than that. As Rafe says, it's about supporting an institution that has kept continuity for generations.
No, I don't really buy it, to be honest. I mean, look, you could, Ralph talks about the constitutional monarchies.
Oh, Paul's gone there. Rafe, I'll come back. Oh, is Paul there? Paul, I'm just going to hold you for a second because your line is a little bit messed up there. Rafe, you talked about having assemblies in schools. I saw that schools are actually teaching about the coronation in the curriculum. They've been told by the government, I believe, or the Department for Education at least, that in schools now they must teach about what the coronation is, what it means for the country, etc., etc. Is that a good thing?
It's a wonderful initiative. It comes far too late, should I say, and regrettably, it's not compulsory. So this is just advisory lessons that can be given. And the problem here, of course, is that fewer than 10% of teachers today vote Conservative or for centre-right parties. There's been a woke takeover of our schools. And so instead of being taught about civic institutions and the value of things such as the monarchy and parliamentary democracy and constitutional monarchy, they're taught about critical race theory. And as I said, they're told about the evil role of Britain and the monarchy. And what was amazing, though, when the government announced this decision about teaching people about the role of the monarchy and the coronation, you had Republic, that miserable bunch of anti-monarchist anoraks who always glumly protest royal gatherings. They said they were going to take this to the courts. I mean, can you imagine getting so worked up about teaching children about the constitutional installation of their head of state? In America, they do just the same thing about the installation of the inauguration of the president. I don't see why in this country people get so angry and motivated about a simple celebration of our constitution and of the role of the monarchy at the center and the core of that. As I've said, the UN lists the best countries in the world to live. The majority of those countries are actually monarchies. Monarchy is not antiquated and doesn't hold a nation back. It brings it together. And we don't have an Independence Day to celebrate or a Bastille Day like they do in France. It's those rare occasions like jubilees and coronations that bring us together as a people to create that social cohesion and a sense of national identity.